welcome to my channel. My name is Paul. In this video I'm going to show you my tiki bar closing and some of the plants I grew this year. I grow a lot of tropical plants in containers and tropical looking hardy plants in the ground. I live in Ontario, Canada, which does get snow and pretty harsh winters. So growing tropical plants is a bit of a challenge, but I've managed to have success long term. I'm just going to share with you today how I overwinter those plants. One of the nice things about living in southern Ontario is the extended warm weather. We do get a really long fall and beautiful sunsets. There's actually a large selection of plants that are hardy in our zone that do look tropical and I don't have to bring in for winter. I'd like to do a video on those as well, maybe next year. Alright, so today I'm going to be wrapping up the season in the backyard here for growing plants. I have a lot of tropical plants outdoors. I'm going to be bringing them because next week it's supposed to drop below zero. Already it's getting down to 2 degrees, which is a little bit cold for tropical plants near the bottom of what they can tolerate. Some of them are definitely suffering already. So I'm going to be bringing them in, and I just want to do a final tour. This year I built this tiki bar. I had a few parties here with friends, so maybe I'll start off with that. So it was quite a bit of work, and I posted a video of the building process. And on the inside you can see I used a stack design here for both the upper bar and the lower bar. And here I built 2 shelves, also connected a TV, and didn't get around to connecting this thing, but I should. So it's basically bottles go in here. Maybe next season I'll do that. So I'm not going to close down the bar just yet. I'll keep this open. Maybe I'll make some drinks still. Maybe have friends over. It's a good day. But I am going to bring in my plants. So I have this year was really late start to spring, and then the summer was very dry. So most of the cans did not bloom. So previous year they bloomed beautifully for me, but this year not so much. And let's see. It's been a dry, very dry year. And I purposely let these plants dry out now so they're a little bit lighter to bring in. And it's looking like it's going to rain today, so I'm hoping that I'll get this done before the rain arrives. What did really well for me this year was this lantana. It just spread out and grew like crazy this year. Alright, so this is lantana. The last bloom remaining, and flowers are very pretty. Orange, yellow, and red. See if I can zoom into it. I love the conditions. Some of new pickups this year is a honeysuckle that I'm going to plant in the ground. And I bought a mandevilla, but unfortunately I got it on clearance and dried out and died. Not really through my own fault. The plant was very damaged. I just took a chance and it didn't work out. And I'm curious what this plant is. I'm not really sure. Just kind of started growing in there. Looks very interesting to me. This plant has grown from a really small one to quite large. And this is it's a bird of paradise. So if it does bloom, it's going to have very tropical looking flower. Cycad. I actually picked up a second one this year. And this has done as well, really well for me. This is a bougainvillea. Previous years it was damaged by frost, but this year it did really well. Put out lots of flowers. I like the dry conditions as well. And even for the first time, my citrus put out flowers. Now I grew this from seed. It's getting quite big, and I think there were 2 seeds that sprouted here. Yeah, so I think maybe next year I'm going to get some citrus. I thought it'd be beautiful if I did. Hopefully it'll happen. You can see the bougainvillea flowers. I changed colors because of the cold temperatures. And you can see even some damage here. And this year was a bad year. I had some tomatoes that I planted. They're really, there's a few on the ground. I guess there's one we will pick up. And not a great year for tomatoes, at least maybe because I planted them late. So I have some tomatoes up front as well, so I might be able to pick up some still. We'll see. So yeah, so that's the garden before I start packing things in. I have basil plants there and tomatoes, and I planted quite a bit of mint, different varieties of mint. So this is mint, this is one variety is chocolate mint, this is peppermint. So I have a few varieties of mint. Hopefully they'll take over this bed. While the tomatoes didn't do that well for me this year, I did grow a large variety of different things, and overall I'm pretty happy with the season, though things could have been better for sure. I'll just take you briefly some of the successes I've had in the last year. Alright, we're gonna get some tomatoes. Beautiful tomato. I think this one too is ready. There's some baby ones. Maybe I'll leave those on still. There's cherry ones. I'm just going to show you some of the plants that managed to fruit for me this year. Some of them a little bit unusual, I think, for my zone, which is zone 6B. It gets to minus 21 degrees some years. The other thing I have here is a quince. I'm just going to pick it because the squirrels are going to get to it for sure. It's another one that is on the ground. A quince is in the rose family. I think it's used mostly for its flavor and smell. It smells like a green apple. And this is what the leaves look like on it. In the spring, the quince puts out large pinkish flowers, somewhat similar to apple tree flowers. Quince. Purchase a small quince tree from a greenhouse sale that the city does once a year, and it's been growing very well for me. The fruit is a little bit too hard to eat on its own. You have to kind of cook it, boil it, but the smell is like a green apple and it smells just amazing. Alright, so what this is black chokeberry or aronia, and I've been waiting for it to ripen. I'm gonna make a drink from it. There's just one left here. Couple left. I'll try making a drink from it. Because the chokeberry is very astringent, unless it's very ripe, I guess, and kind of probably just want to use it for juices or jams. However, you can eat it raw. You just have to be patient, wait for it to get very ripe. In the spring, it puts out beautiful white flowers that attract lots of insects. And this is a little bit more chokeberry. My dog helping out here. So what it looks like, and it tastes pretty good. A few years back I planted a peach tree in the front yard here. It's grown quite large, and since then I planted a smaller one, so I have two varieties of peaches. Unfortunately, the large tree suffers from leaf curl disease, so most of the leaves at the lower branches get diseased and fall off. But it did manage to produce some fruit for me this year. Not that much, but the yield's improving as the tree is getting larger. The squirrels got to most of the peaches on the large tree the day before I was going to pick them. However, I did manage to get some off of the small peach tree. Alright, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 peaches. 10 peaches. I'm going to leave one, that's like a baby one. Just going to show you some of the new plants I got at this, because there's a lot of plants on clearance. It's a strawberry. This beautiful, this is a honeysuckle plant, and I already have one that's planted climbing up the rows here, but also this orchid, which there was a thunderstorm yesterday and fell down, so I'm not sure if it's gonna how well it's gonna do. The garden attracts a large variety of insects, including different species of butterflies and even fireflies. I think starting in June and July, there's lots of butterflies that show up, but also fireflies. Every night for 2 or 3 months, the fireflies show up, and it's a little bit hard to capture at night, but I'm just going to show you one right here, in case you've never seen one up close. So you're just gonna have to be patient and wait for it, and there it goes. The lights are a mating display, and that's how they attract their partners. Deer behind me. For the first time ever, there was a deer that showed up in my front yard and stayed for a few days before disappearing. And yeah, I also picked up quite a few decorations, so maybe in the second part I'll talk about another plant here, which is way past its bloom, but this is a rose, climbing rose. Had two times that I put out flowers. It's a beautiful, it's something I planted years back. It's a beautiful plant, and also I like combining multiple plants in one area, so I get continuous blooms throughout the summer. So I have clematis here. I also have honeysuckle that's planted, so all of these things bloom throughout the summer repeatedly for me. So my plants that start blooming again. This rose has been blooming like since spring, basically. Like it had one big flush of flowers and then start blooming again. So late, And then this honeysuckle as well. Looks like it put out some new flowers. I used the rose petals in rose syrup for tiki drinks and other syrups I made using the rose petals. So highly recommend growing climbing rose in your garden. I think I have 2 varieties of honeysuckle planted here, and this is how it looked like in July. Alright, so this is honeysuckle. It's a very pretty plant. Beautiful tropical looking flowers. And you can see this is what the leaves look like, and also the flowers before they open up. And one trick that I like to do is I grow multiple vines in one place. So what I have is I have the honeysuckle, I have a wisteria. This is originally, there was just a wisteria vine that was planted here, and you can still, it flowered beautifully once before this year. This is just the second bloom. It's putting out some new flowers now, and this is the middle of July. So this is wisteria, and I also have a climbing rose here, and alright, so this is my trumpet vine. I let it take over my house basically. You see it stretches all the way up there, and I left this rose of Sharon here. I planted it here, replanted it, and it's got beautiful flowers. So again, go check out some of the other plants I have. I have this Enseti banana. You can see very hard to film, maybe from the other side. It stretches over my head. Another tropical looking plant I highly recommend growing if you want to have a hardy tropical garden is a wisteria. This plant puts out beautiful hanging flowers in the spring and has a very fragrant, sweet smell that attracts lots of insects. Oh, this plant here had lots of flowers. This is, I forget, not mandevilla, the other one. Yeah, so this is palm I picked out last year. Some strawberries. I had a little bit of strawberries this year in pot that they produced for me. Some of my tropical plants are well over 10 years old. The key to long-term success is bringing them inside before the first frost, and actually knowing which plants you need to bring in earlier, and having the discipline not to take them out too early in the spring. Alright, so I have a dedicated room for this and it's starting to fill up slowly. Try and layer things so tallest things go in the corners and then kind of slope down. And then try and clear the window, have the window open. So as much light gets in as possible. But we'll see. A lot of the plants grew so much that's getting harder and harder to do that. I do have a passion vine I trained up top here. It looks like it's gonna have a flower. So that'll be a nice nice surprise if it does. The size of this leaf. This banana from a tiny seedling and it's over 2 meters tall now. It's been my experience that it's much better to underwater than overwater these plants in winter and let them hibernate. On November 26th, we were starting to get hit with snow, and the snow, because it's open sides, snow does find itself inside the bar. So I'm just going to bring in pretty much everything from here. I might later on in the year, I might do a Christmas display, but I haven't decided yet. But most of these things are going inside and they'll be safe in storage. One option was to leave things outside and then wrap the bar, but it's just simpler to take things down. I think it maybe took me an hour or so. The biggest thing to take down was obviously the TV, and it had to go inside because the snow was blowing inside. Unlike rain, like the the roof stops the rain, but snow blows around, so I was a little bit afraid some snow was going to get into the back of the TV. So I had to take it down and bring it inside. Alright, thank you for watching. I'm just going to leave off with the bar closing. I'll add some music, and I don't know if you want to still stick around, but I'll just show how I take down the bar.